everyone, it's Hazel West, and I'm here with my April reading wrap up. So, um, for April, I didn't get quite as many books as I planned to read because I really only read like two books in the first, I don't know, 3 weeks. Or three books, I don't know. It was bad. Because I read like five books the last week um, to make up for it, and because I actually had time and wanted to read. But besides that, I didn't get as many as I wanted to done. I did end up reading seven novels and two short stories, though, so it wasn't too bad. Before I start this month's reading wrap up, I wanted to do a review for It's a Wonderful Death by Sarah J. Schmidt. This was at the end of my. Um, this was one of the books I read back in March, but and I had wanted to write a review for it, but I just have not gotten around to doing any written reviews recently. So I just decided to do a wrap up for it instead. Um, so this I really really enjoyed this one. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. It sounded like really funny when I picked it up, so I had to read it. I love like kind of quirky, paranormal, whatever you want to call this, books. Now I'm gonna have to look at the main character's name. Okay, RJ. Um, so RJ, was a girl who got a teenage girl who wasn't really like a great friend or a great person, and she accidentally got reaped by a reaper who was going for a gypsy woman at the fair. So she was she was determined that she was not supposed to have died so soon. So she kind of like just goes ballistic and tries to get back to her life. So there's like this whole trial that they go through, and event and to prove herself to go back, um, she has to relive three three instances in her life that she and change something about them that will that affects the other person that they had to deal with. So essentially, um, um, anyway, that's what it was. That's the storyline. So yeah, and I really enjoyed it because I think RJ really was a really good dynamic character, and she was a very likable protagonist too. She's pretty funny. And like even before she went back and fixed everything, I think she kind of realized she wasn't really a good person, and I think that was why I could like her as much as I did. But yeah, really awesome characters. The It's kind of funny because the first part of this book was like pretty quirky and hilarious, and then the second part half of this book was like super super tear jerky and just really really bittersweet. But I loved the ending actually. I was kind of suspecting what how it was gonna end. Um, when I had like about a third of the book left, but so I did see it coming. But and I can't say I didn't like it because I think it actually kind of wrapped up in a sort of ironic, bittersweet way. But yeah, it was really good and it made me cry and I loved it and I really look forward to reading more from this author. She can do characters and stories very well, so I'm really glad I ended up picking this one up. And by the way, Death himself as like a beach bum surfer was totally awesome. I approved of that. Okay, now getting into the April wrap up. The first book I read was Invincible by Sherilyn Kenyon. This is the second book in the Chronicles of Nick series. Um, I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as the first one. I didn't think it was quite as action packed, but it's still a pretty fun read because I really do like Nick, um, and I like the cast of supporting characters just as much. I think they're just so fun to read about. because they're always so crazy and just quirky, but not in a way that it seems like the author's trying to purposely make them like that. It's just that's the way they are, and it's kind of like that in urban fantasy anyway. So, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to continue this series. This is kind of the series that I pick up whenever I really just I don't want to have to deal with any kind of crazy plot line. I mean, they're pretty crazy, but they're easy reading. Like if I just need an easy read urban fantasy, this is what I pick up, and I always enjoy them. So, yeah, that was that. I don't really have much more to say about that one. Um, After that, I picked up Rise of the Wolf by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This is the second book in the Mark of the Thief trilogy. I thought it used to be called The Praetor War, but I think the title changed. Like the series used to be called the Praetor War series, but I think it's just been changed to the Mark of the Thief trilogy. And anyway, I ended up giving this one 5 out of 5 stars. There's something about Jennifer A. Nielsen's trilogies that, like, the first book is good, but it's almost like the second book is actually better because it finally gets into the meat of the story, and she just has this way with, like, making her characters just go through practically anything. Like, just when you think they get a break, nope. And it was always like that in the Ascendants trilogy. And Nick in these, just, he doesn't get a break either. Poor guy. I feel so bad for him. I mean, these books are always guaranteed to rip your heart out. They're guaranteed to leave you gasping for breath. And, of course, another 2016 cliffhanger. So, yeah, apparently it's the year for them. Yeah, apart from that, it was a lot more action packed than the first one, I think. Um, I enjoyed seeing where this story is going. Because I think the third book is going to be totally amazing. And I really, really can't wait for it. Um, Probably my favorite part of this one was the chariot race scenes, which were very well done. I actually have never ridden a chariot race. I was going to a while ago, but I never really got around to it. So I approve of her attempting that because it was like completely daunting idea for me, and I don't think I could have done it nearly as well as she did. So I'm really looking forward to the third one because I need it now. Thank you very much. This is one of the meanest cliffhangers I think I've read this year, and that's saying something. But anyway, 5 out of 5 stars. I'm really looking forward to her last one because if her second books are good, her third ones are even better. After that, I was trying to get out of my reading slump, so I picked up some H.P. Lovecraft because I've been really wanting to not write, but read um, just some good, like, traditional horror stories. Um, so I read a couple of the short stories in this collection, and the first one I read was Pickman's Model, which I really liked. That one was really creepy. I really loved the concept of it, and I gave that one, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. The second one I read was one of his longer ones. I don't know if it really classifies as a novella, maybe. Um, and that was The Dunwich Horror, which was also creepy. Not one. I don't think it's gonna be one of my favorites. I haven't gotten to read many more, or I haven't. I don't think I've read any more, unless I did and I forgot. Um, the Dunwich Horror was good. It really did creep me out for certain reasons. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I think I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars. Um, but I love his writing style. And I really looking forward to reading more of the stories because he's kind of like Poe in a way. I really like classic horror as opposed to like what people normally classify horror as in the modern genre because I think there's more depth to it and not just like slasher fix or slasher film kind of thing. But yeah, I thought it was good. I think his concepts are very interesting and creepy. So, I'm really looking forward to reading more of these.